Last time on the Cartographer, Dashie missed a grunt 3 times and massacres a platoon of marines in response, while 00 landed a kill on a hunter with 1 shot after being yeeted off a bridge. In this episode, Dashie and 00 discover an immortal flood combat form. Dashie throws a grenade, then forces 00 to watch, and 00 gets uncomfortable with friendly units on his motion tracker. I'm getting some ambience. I'm turning off my overhead light and putting on like one of the darker ones.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let me turn off my lights so I can sit here and be shit scared.
Genuinely remember there was a time when I was but a young boy. I would play this level. I would play Halo, get to this level, and quit when this level started because I was too scared to play it.
I had that with a game on PlayStation called Haze.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to turn my audio down. It's way too loud.
Sorry, that's me opening a bag of jelly beans.
That's cool. Alright, it's going to do another sync real quick.
Yep.
Syncing again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm all synced.
Nom nom nom.
Oh, there we go. I think now my audio is too quiet. Oh. I know what it is. Sometimes there's a bug in co-op where the audio just goes quieter for MCCs like Halo Combat Evolved. I've been having that a lot. That's why last recording session, my audio wasn't working through my bone conducting earphones. It was because it was just too quiet to pick up. But everything just went real quiet, so I've turned the monitoring back up. That's fine though. Anyway, we digress. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Dagobah, apparently. In this mission, we're going to try and find Yoda in his little hut and try and lift this pelican out of the swamp.
Okay.
Yep, there we go. That's the mission set. Okay, but for real, this is the mission 343 Guilty Spark. Pretty sure any Halo veteran remembers playing this as a youngin. Yeah. Installation, any words?
It's spooky.
It is kind of spooky, yeah. Are you playing in Remastered?
I keep flicking between them because although I like the graphical fidelity of the newer graphics, there's something about the darkness and fog and everything of the original.
Right, I'm going to make a very quick point about this as well, just before we crack on with stuff, if that's okay with you.
Yep.
So, I know that people tend to have a sort of disliking for how Halo Anniversary ruined the sort of lighting and ambience for Halo Combat Evolved. And while I understand that gripe, that isn't something we're going to be centering on today. Purely because we're here to look at the lore aspect of this level, as opposed to the actual game and critiquing it itself. So we're going to do that in a very sort of, hopefully, non-objective way. Subjective, that's the word. We're going to do it in a very... we're going to do it in an objective way. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, okay,
subjective means you're biased.
Yeah, it's an opinion, yeah. Okay. Definitely going to do it in an objective way then. So, so it's fair the whole way through, and so that people who do like this don't feel like we are hating on their game. With that said, the radio here, I'm going to go quiet so people can hear it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so that was a Marine sending out a distress signal.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was going to be on X amount of intervals, and the name of the dropship was Victor 933, which is labelled on the side of the ship, which you can see above there. So we know that it's this ship sending out that distress signal, and not another one that is being received by this ship.
There is actually a little shortcut to get like most of the way through the level, like through the swamp rather.
Yes, I believe you can actually get the skull over here as well.
Can you?
Yes, the skull is on this little drop. It's much easier to get when you drop out. I think it's this way, the skull. We'll go through the level in full, if that's alright, just because we want the full ambience.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm just saying
But
there is a way. I mean, there's also a way to, like, hop back in the Pelican. There's also a way to get on the Pelican and get it to fly you outside of the level, but... And then you can find the lost Marine.
The skull should be, like...
Oh!
There it is. It's behind you.
I think I picked
Yeah,
it up.
it's just on the floor here. It's the recession skull, which I assume is akin to something akin to the famine skull. If I remember correctly, actually, it's the one that costs you twice the amount of bullets you fire. So you fire one shot and lose two, I believe. Because I remember laughing at the description for it, which is save those bullets, player. Man, this swamp does look really cool.
Even though it's perhaps a tad too bright.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to lower my brightness down for this if I'm going to play in Classic. Or in Anniversary. Yeah. I think that'd be good.
Even though the brightness is probably a tad too high and the fog isn't thick enough, they did so well with the graphical revamp.
Oh my god, it looks amazing in 4.5. If you turn your brightness down to 4.5, that looks really sort of eerie.
Let me have a look.
Looks much better.
Brightness. 4.5, do you say?
Yeah. And it makes the flashlight really useful.
I'm already on 4.
You're on 4. I play on like 5 or 6. Because I get glare coming through my window, so.
Alright, fair.
Okay, let us push forth.
There's so much lore that's inside my head that I want to get out when we get actually into the structure. Especially just after we actually have the revelation.
Okay, so with that said, we can start talking about it when we go into the structure. As I say, most people who are watching this have played Halo, so they'll know what we're going up against, and I can almost guarantee that the inside of the structure, apart from a few dead bodies, doesn't really have much in the way of tales to tell.
Not majorly.
At least from memory. What's this over here? Oh, this is interesting. There's piping over here. Never noticed that. So even in the swamps, like there's just piping like this, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Makes me think of sewage, though.
Unsurprisingly, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose it is kind of unsurprisingly.
See, what I really love about this in a second is that when you get up onto the log and we cross over, your motion tracker will show friendly units nearby.
I think I just saw them on my tracker a second ago.
And they just wink in and out. There you go. They just wink in and out of existence, and it's creepy as hell.
I got a pretty good glimpse of that, by the way. It looked to be a flood. Like an actual flood.
See, apparently there's a friendly down there now, and we were just down there. You're
already creeping me out. So, I actually, when I was playing through this level on Legendary with a friend of mine, he's called, well, his online name is Bob Ross. Yeah, it's WS Bob Ross the Painter or something like that. But when we're playing through this, I think he brought up a point about the fact that why the flood showing up as friendlies, and I'd like to address that now. That's entirely because the Marines have IFF tags on them, which
Correct.
is identify friend or foe, I believe. I believe that's what it means.
Yep.
And so, because the Marines obviously have been infected, the Flood now hold that IFF tag. Though it comes with the inconsistency later that Marines, Flood Marines, will show up as red on your motion tracker. So this is purely for ambience, but
yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So because the IFF that transponder that is given to all UNSC personnel at enlistment is a small chip that's embedded in the base of the skull. It's not visible at skin level, unlike the command neural interface that you see Lord Hood and the Spartan neural interface, which we don't see Spartans wearing with because they got their helmets on most of the time. But yeah, the Marine IFF transponder is subdermal. It's connected to the base of the skull, and it means that when a Marine is infected by the flood, the transponder, because it's non-biological, remains uninfected and still broadcasts the IFF transponder signal, which obviously Mjolnir picks up and assumes is friendly.
So I haven't read The Flood yet. I've got the book here. I'm gonna start reading it tonight.
Oh, there's some scenes in it that are so gruesome, it's unreal.
I would like to just ask a very quick question. Does the point ever get raised about the fact that the Master Chief's motion tracker shows up as friendlies for some of the Flood? Does that ever get raised?
No, it doesn't. No.
Okay. I'm just asking out of curiosity. Well, this room looks really nice. I'm playing in remastered. I'm sort of not forcing myself to do it, but just trying to get used to it. This is one of the few levels I avoided playing in remastered, so I'm trying to take it all in now. Okay, I think I've taken it all in. Would you like me to press the button?
Yes, please.
I'm really going to lean into it. Watch this. Okay, so in classic it just gets darker as you go down.
Yeah.
Okay, you're floating. There you go. I like those Covenant glyphs on the wall there. They are Covenant, right?
Well, which ones?
Over here.
No, they're not. They're Forerunner.
Oh, they're Forerunner.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of the weird ones that
the Covenant
ones that are similar to.
Yeah, the Covenant have reappropriated some of the glyphs for different reasons, like on the backs of the elites, and there's even a glyph, a Forerunner glyph on the plasma grenade as well.
What do you reckon these represent? Usually Forerunner stuff isn't green, right? So why is this green?
The symbol coloration, at least to what we can figure out, the symbol coloration denotes whether or not it's a threat, a research facility, like a passive system, a transportation system, or anything like that. So the colours vary based on the associated location, so to speak.
Right.
And as far as green is concerned, most of the time we seem to have likened it to basically being an indication that this is a research facility of some degree.
To me, when I see green, I think infection.
Yeah. See, oddly enough, it's the red symbols that are usually associated with areas that have active or live flood specimens.
Okay. Very interesting.
Just refilling my tankard. There we go.
That's okay. I've just put a nicotine pouch in. I got a new shipment that arrived today.
Are those Nordic ones?
They're similar to the same thing, just a different brand. But
okay.
I literally got these because I used to smoke, and these have helped me quit. So, if anyone watching, if you smoke, take a look at nicotine pouches. It's like snus, but no tobacco. Really helps you quit smoking. I haven't touched a cigarette for almost a year now. So,
well, hey.
Yeah, it's a small achievement. Okay. Audio's slightly fallen behind for me, but that's fine. I'm not too off-put by it. Nice throw.
There you go.
Okay, so here we get more of these light bridges as well. Not right now. I think this button's broken, right?
Yeah, this one's broken, yeah.
Oh, hang on. Yes, so these are the Covenant glyphs that you can see on this. In remastered, sort of at the top. These circles.
Again, technically they're Forerunner glyphs.
Huh.
The Covenant glyphs are like.
We'll kill an elite and we'll find out.
Yeah, almost like different assemblage, like orientations of triangles and little marks like that. But
right.
Well, we'll find an example.
I also like that when Bungie made this game, so a little fun fact for you guys, they almost ran out of actual set decoration they could use. So it's everything that is set decoration is comprised of something called Space Crate, which is this thing. And if you look, this is actually one of the normal crates just flipped upside down with a bit of antenna on the top. See how it's wider at the top instead of the bottom?
Yeah.
And that's what Space Crate is. Because if you look down there, there's normal crates. Well, normal Space Crates. So what they did is they flipped it upside down on that side, and then the bits on the side here, they flipped it upside down again. So essentially, the side parts are the right way up in orientation in terms of the crates. Yeah, there's the grey bits at the top.
Yeah.
But they should be at the bottom. But the rest of the crate is actually back to front, or upside down, inside out, living la vida loca. So
there's a random grunt running around in here. No, there's not.
I'd like you to cut to my screen for that. I just had a really meaty whack on the other side of a wall. There's something akin to this. There's a grunt in here. Okay, so while we're in here, have you what's your stance on sort of working on some flood, not sort of fan fiction, I don't really like that term, but sort of well, fan fiction.
I agree with you. Like the term, for some reason, the term fan fiction kind of, although it is what it is, it comes with a kind of a reputation of amateur-ish style.
It makes
work.
me think of Harry Potter Tumblr.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
But yeah, for the most part, for the entirety, it is actually fan fiction.
Well, I mean, given the narrative that I quickly extrapolated at the start of the Halloween special just gone, and I've seen comments asking that be made into an animated short. I'm guessing, yeah, people seem to like that kind of style of stuff. So I'm more than on board with being able. I'm writing some flood style.
I would like to see like a short sort of like maybe like a 5-episode sort of series. I'd love to see that, and just you've got the right idea with the ambience. You know exactly what goes into it all, and I did finally get round to watching maybe like another minute further into that scary video that you did. Again, every time I go to your channel, it's of an evening or a night when everything's dark and quiet in the house. So it's just it gets me a bit like unsettled, not really scared. I don't think the flood's going to come through my door, but it does get me a little bit unsettled. But the fact that you can do that with your own writing speaks volumes to what you could do with a short series, I think.
Yeah. I'm game. I'm game to explore. I mean, like I said, I've got I've done that. I've not finished yet. I'm still working on Fireteam Ares. So yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it now.
In theory, this is actually a flood containment area. So
you can see the drips coming from up top, actually.
Yeah. So the large thing up here, the square that's got the lights on the bottom of it in Anniversary Graphics, the green square, that's actually a glass case, and it lowers down and encompasses this entire area here. And then in theory, a flood specimen is held in a stasis field on the plinth that I'm currently stood on.
Huh. That's kind of cool. If you look around the outside as well, that earlier you were talking about red being about the flood. These podiums or little short columns on the outside have red on them.
Yeah.
So I assume that's to indicate that.
Hazard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's more information. I want that pistol.
One way to get it.
It works. Watch, I'll find one that's got more ammo in like a second.
So there is actually lore on how Johnson escaped. And
I'd like to hear this.
I do want to talk a bit on Jensen at some point as well. See, this is one of the first things that like I was already when I was younger and I didn't know what was coming. I was already unsettled by the ambience that we've just been through, like the swamp, the flood run, the Covenant running away from something, and and the weird like motion tracker issues, so to speak. But coming here and seeing all this blood for the like just plastered on the walls, and thinking to myself, well, I haven't been here yet.
Yeah, this
so who
is
did
new.
this?
And then it's the second you get around the corner. This is what really set in for me. So I remember playing this around at my friend's house. It was again, I was a kid at the time, and we got to this mission, and it was I was staying over at his, and it was like 7 or 8 at night, but it was winter. It was like November. And I remember getting here, and in classic graphics, we got here, and we could see the blood, and my friend was like, oh, they look like they've barricaded themselves in, and I was like, maybe. But now that I've sort of grown older, that looks to be exactly the case.
Yeah, they have quite literally like, yeah, barricaded themselves. Ooh.
Oh, sorry, I've hit the teleport trigger there.
Oh.
Oh, you hit me. You made me hit the trigger. Oh.
What is?
Okay, I'm gonna stay over here. I'll let you walk there.
Yeah, so they've quite literally barricaded themselves in and tried to hold the fort basically in there.
Yeah, I wonder if you can get in them. I'm sure you probably can. This door over here is just locked, so you can't actually go through there at all. There you go. That wasn't on purpose, but it was just to explore. Again, it's so quiet and...
That's the thing, isn't it? This is also the first time you haven't had Cortana's voice talking from inside your head. So you are literally like...
Oh, hey, look. Blamite. That's kind of cool.
So, yeah. So basically the needle shards that are on the top of the needler there are actually effectively chipped off of these Blamite crystals. These larger crystals.
They're chipped off these Blamite crystals, and not only that, but another fun fact, Bungie loves the name Blam. So when Halo was in development, it was called Blam. As well as when you name a map file or game file with anything obscene, it would be automatically corrected to Blam. The Halo engine is called the Blam engine, and that's where they got the name for Blamite from, was just Blam. With an exclamation mark. It can't... Yeah, probably could. Don't jump off your head. Okay, I'm up. So we've got red Forerunner symbols up here.
Yeah, by definition, like obviously, on your
we'll
own,
go the normal way, but
yeah, on your own you can't get up there. But by definition, yeah, if you're on co-op, you could use each other to effectively get up there, and that's where you need to be going. Yes.
But then you miss out on the crazy marine.
Miss out on the other, all the other fun stuff.
You miss out on literally the good parts. So
we shall continue.
But we'll talk about those red symbols up there later.
Yeah. Yeah, but Johnson obviously he's with the other Marines and with Keyes. Now, he's part of the Orion program. He's an Orion soldier, basically a Spartan 1, retroactively named Spartan 1s. And before we do, it's too late. Ooh.
Wait, I want to try something.
Go on.
He is cemented to that wall. 1 sec, my printer's making funny noises. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Okay, we're all good.
In the book, Chief actually, he sees the crazy Marine, tries to talk to him, and the Marine fires a single shot into Chief's chest, which actually rocks Chief onto his heels. The Chief steps forward and wrenches the gun from his hand.
Doesn't it break his fingers?
Yeah, and tells him to get topside and wait for backup, basically. And he knows that he just as he walks away, he knows he's not going to leave. He's not going to get out of here.
Oh, this must be... Hey, it's Darth Maul from Episode 1. With the...
with the glow sticks, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I love this room. I love this room a lot.
Yeah, so this is another case in point. So this is with the glass shroud that's been lowered. Obviously the glass is broken, and whatever stasis field was holding the flood in place here failed, and it's obviously broken the glass here and gone out.
That wasn't me. Yeah. So I wonder what was kept in this one for it to be so big. I'd imagine probably not an infection, not like an infected. What are they called? The combat form.
Combat form, yeah.
Probably not, given that no one was in here yet. It's in containment.
It's possible maybe a carrier form, so then it blew up and shattered.
Yeah,
the
but
glass.
that requires something to infect
point,
though, because
yeah.
it's got legs. I remember thinking they were grunts because they had like really stubby feet.
Yeah, but it's actually, in reality, it's like the limbs have almost been degraded down to stumps.
Yeah. Again, the flood is sort of, what's the term for it? It's a type of horror, like body horror, I think is the term for it, right?
Yeah.
To me, that's what the flood is. There's something, as terrified as I am of the flood for the most part, like if they were real, I would rather not have to deal with them.
Yeah.
But as terrifying as they are, there's something so fascinating about something that can change what we perceive as a human form so drastically and so quickly. Which again, we can cover a bit more on in Halo. We can cover a bit more on that in Halo 3 when the Marine gets infected, because you get to see in real time what the infection looks like. Unfortunately, that's not in Halo 1, so you're gonna have to wait until then.
Yeah.
So stick around and remember this in about 4 months' time. But yeah, that's what always fascinated me about the flood, was how just how sort of visceral they were as an alien, because it's not your traditional zombie. It's not your traditional, they bite you and you become one of them, although there are aspects of that. It's, they don't become this meandering thing. They're more akin to a mixture of something, a real life fungus called cordyceps, or Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. They're a mix of those, and sort of 28 days later, sort of infected. And that's just sort of how I perceive them. Obviously, everyone perceives them differently, but I love that. It's one of the best things about Halo, is the ability to keep almost any player completely enamored with the world, because there's so much fascinating things, or so many fascinating things that occur.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was I saying? Johnson.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
That's all right. So yeah, Johnson. He's a member of the Spartan Ones. Basically, they're retroactively called Spartan Ones. It's part of the Orion candidacy, and the augmentations that the Orions were given basically doesn't make Johnson immune to the flood. It just makes him like a really difficult vector for them to take over.
Right.
And so the other, basically, the Flood seek out like sentient life forms with sufficient biomass and neural sophistication, so to speak, to fully facilitate their function. And because of some of the augmentations, they didn't immediately identify Johnson as a viable source, basically.
Oh, okay.
He can be infected, but they just didn't identify him as a viable source in the first instance. But he actually manages, because he was ignored effectively, he manages to physically fight his way out, including dodging a combat form of one of his own Marines that had been taken over, and shooting a shotgun blast at basically point blank range to try to clear the area. And he manages to get back topside and get out the swamp.
So what bit of literature is that detailed in?
That is in the.
Is that also
Halo
in the
graphic.
Flood?
No, it's in Halo the graphic novel.
Okay, I've got a lot to read up on. My intention is to read every Halo book by the time Infinite releases.
I'll splice while I was talking about that. I'll retroactively splice in screenshots from that particular.
Okay,
novel,
cool.
Graphic
So
story and
red symbols.
yes.
Here we go. And we can tell that's to do with infection, because if you look, these doors have come outwards. They're not blown inwards, which means they came from in here.
And so the music starts.
I can't hear it because my game is really quiet, but I will take your word for it. Okay, let's go around the side and let's take a look into the room before we enter the Dragon's Den. Well, the lair of the beast. So, for this coming cutscene, do you want me to run in classic so you can splice between them, or would you rather just...
Can do if you want. Yeah, that gives me options.
Yeah, I'll do
But,
that then.
Yeah, it's I like this area because it actually feels purposeful.
Yeah.
This does feel like an observation suite over the top of a flood research facility, and
It really does.
a lot of the machinery in there, or quote unquote machinery,
The tech.
the tech of the room, yeah, looks like it could be used for some degree of surgical or scientific investigation, almost.
By the way, my print is 5 hours in. We're on 21%. But it's
Got
mostly
a little while to
support.
wait yet.
Yeah, it's mostly support, so it'll be done by the time I get up. Yeah, I love this. Of this room.
Shame we can't walk around the path.
Oh, hang on. I didn't notice that. Oh, I didn't even notice these were windows.
Yeah.
There you go. That's something new. Are there windows in... Oh, there are in Classic as well. Okay. So I head downstairs in Classic, and I'll trigger the cutscene if you'd like. Oh, I went down the wrong way. Yeah, there's a lot of blood there. Do you reckon that's all from that one Marine? And also, is that the guy that ran away in the cutscene?
Is it Mendoza?
I have no idea.
Looks like his arm's been ripped off, though.
I think that's just the way he's lying down.
Yeah.
It does look like it's been ripped. That's a really long arm. Is that like his shoulders dislocated and pushed forward? Okay, let's hit the cutscene, and I will be quiet.
Just a body propped up on the inner surface of the door.
Yeah. I'm getting some artifacts on OBS on the recording, but I'd assume that's just a preview.
Yeah.
Being dodgy, but yeah. Crouch walk. Stay off the motion tracker.
Mm-hmm. Jenkins. Private Wallace A.
What do you reckon the A stands for?
Don't know.
Ah! Here we go. So you actually get a timestamp for this at the bottom left.
Wallace Jenkins. Jenkins actually first appeared chronologically in Halo lore back in Contact Harvest as part of the colonial militia of Harvest.
I remember reading that that name. So do him and Johnson go back in that sense?
Mm.
Yeah, I can't hear any music. Right, don't cut to me just here. I'm just going to check my audio settings.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's set to max. Okay, I don't know why it's... There's an edit where someone's dubbed in Britney Spears music there. It's a really good edit. Obviously royalty-free music as well, I believe. So for people who haven't seen it, I would highly recommend watching the developer commentary for this game. It's super interesting, especially when they talk about this mission.
Yeah.
And how they record these, which I really like. I'd love to try and emulate that sometime to make my own versions of cutscenes, but
yeah,
it's finding the time and the resources. Also, the audio warping on this is super creepy.
It is, yeah.
Man, Pete Stacker did a really good job as the voice of Keys.
He did.
It was very grizzled, sort of grizzled captain. I like that.
Right. Well, let's get this door open.
This
Look how
bothered me a
big the
little bit.
gun. Why? What's bothering you?
The Covenant worked pretty hard to lock it down. So he puts a device on it, presses a few buttons.
Where
Open.
does that go? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I guess the door sort of recedes in a bit. You can tell this was originally made sort of kind of for PC, because look at the movement.
Mm.
There's a Star Wars reference.
What's going on, soldier? Corporal, do you copy? Over. Mendoza, get your ass back up to second squad position and find out what the hell is going on. I don't have time for your lip, soldier. I gave you an order.
I love this guy, the sort of Spanish.
They're coming from Mendoza.
Yeah, I love Mendoza's sort of Spanish voice, and the way he uses Spanish as well.
Mm.
So for anyone who missed that, he said "there mira," which in Spanish means look. Obviously pointing out the door.
Damn it, Jenkins. Fire your weapon. You're too busy, sir. Don't even think about it.
Well, it's a good point worth noting because evidently English is his second language, Spanish is his first.
Yes.
And in moments of extreme stress, your brain doesn't have the opportunity to process translating your thoughts to a different language. So in those instances where you're pent up, full of adrenaline, and you're scared, you're not going to be translating your own voice. You're going to be talking in your mother language, in your mother tongue.
That's true, but I'd also like to point out, not as a counterpoint or to sort of undermine your point there, but he also says Mira Mark V when talking about Master Chief on the Pillar of Autumn. He will point that out. You can cut that bit of audio out if you want, just to...
I love the fact that evidently infection forms are capable of smashing a door open.
Yeah.
Now, it makes me wonder, how do they do that? Do they...
Probably
like,
World War Z style, where they sort of
Yeah,
just like
almost
ram into it
hoard.
repeatedly.
Yeah, almost hoard together and like hit it like a wave or something.
Yeah, I think so. Also, if anyone unaware, so scale in Halo gets mixed up a lot purely because you're playing as a 7-foot, mechanical badass, but not mechanical, but semi sort of cyborg badass. And so you tend to sort of forget that things that look small are actually pretty big. So a fluid infection form, if I remember correctly, they're like 1.5 2 feet tall, right? Something like that.
Yeah, about 2 feet tall, and they're about 3 feet long.
These things, these things are enormous.
If one leapt onto your chest, it would be heavy enough for you to
You'd be
struggle to
weighed
get it
down.
off.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the elite bodies before we push on. Oh, actually, that's just 1 minute. Come on.
Beyond you.
Ah. Okay, so if you want to talk about them, I'll just hold the door just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the fact that the flood. What's gruesome about the flood is that, generally speaking, the person being taken over is still fully aware of what's happening. The infection form burrows into the chest and forces tentacles down to the spinal column, where it then taps into the central nervous system and creates a carrier wave that is harmonic to the host's own neural impulses, and then basically steals control of the brain away from the individual. So it means that although it now controls the vast majority of the brain and it controls the body in its entirety, there's still small aspects of the neocortex and consciousness that persist after this process. So
see, that's what terrifies me.
These elites would have had to experience their bodies being mutated, their wrists being broken and tentacles being broken out, being grown out of them at an accelerated rate, and also have to experience the unpleasantness of having their head forced up and backwards and then snapping the neck and leaving the head to hang just loosely down the back.
Yeah, that's really creepy. Also, if you look, so the elite's skin, and this is something I've just noticed, if you stand on this side and look at the elite, you can see the elite's neck, and you can see sort of like a hole, sort of like a tear where you can see the muscles underneath. Yeah. Right? But then look at the legs. The legs, that is their combat sort of skin that goes underneath the harness, the sort of undergarment. Yeah. And then muscle, just straight muscle. And you can see it on this elite's arm as well. That is all his muscle. That is not skin. Yeah. That is entirely his muscle. I never really sort of paid attention to that till now. I just assumed it was different levels of decay. But it makes you realize just sort of how horrific that is. Like, you guys know how bad a paper cut is, right? Imagine that, and then it gets stretched. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to give any bad ideas, like in terms of brain stuff, because I'm not a big fan. But
there's a case in point. That is the elite's eye there, and its mandibles looking down
facing backwards.
Down its own back. You know, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's definitely horrifying. And you see its ribs have been pushed out on this one as well. This one's lying face up. Its ribs have been pushed out. You can see the marking for the ribs there on my screen. Yeah. You can see the marking for the ribs, but it's come out. The neck looks very swollen because the infection form has to burrow upwards slightly, which is why the neck gets pushed back like that. Yeah. And you can actually see the tendril hanging out the back, but that's just a graphical error. Alright, shall we push forward? We'll analyse the marine ones when we get to them.
Yes. Yeah, in Private Wallace A. Jenkins' case, unfortunately for him, the particular infection form that infected him was elderly. And as a well, I say elderly, ancient, because obviously a lot of the infection forms are held in stasis. So this particular infection form was so old that it had been quite heavily weakened in its ability to take over Jenkins' body, but it was able to take over his body enough that the infection form could mutate his genetics, his DNA base, mutate his body, take control of his physical functions, but leave Jenkins fully aware of everything that's happening. So it's not even like a dream-like state because of having your higher brain function sort of stolen away from you and your ability to control your body. It's literally, he was fully aware of everything that was happening. And what's worse is that every now and then the infection form would weaken to a point where Jenkins could gain some control back of his own body.
I remember hearing about that actually. I didn't read the bit of literature that came from, but if I remember correctly,
again, you'll find that in the Flood.
Oh, is that in the Flood? Oh, excellent! I look forward to that. Is that not? Is there not a point in which, or several points in which he, in a very morbid fashion, tries to, when he regains consciousness, tries to kill himself by jumping off like cliffs? Yeah, let's go this way, right?
He tries to get some Marines to kill him. But once he actually gets captured and taken to Alpha Base, of all places, and while he's there, he manages to wrestle control back from the infection form again, and manages to alert the Marines that there's an access port at the base of Alpha Base that would allow more Flood forms in, and he was somewhat aware that they were already on their way. So that means that there was some overlap between the Flood's consciousness and his own, which meant that he had sort of brief insight into what the Flood was doing and planning. So he alerted them that it was there, and the Marines went down and successfully welded plates into place over the access port, which stopped the Flood from gaining access to the Alpha base and wiping out the command center on Halo.
Okay, so I've just found out that my microphone is sensitive enough to just very faintly pick up your audio. That's not an issue though. It's very faint.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, no, that's so essentially he had the ability to say, hey, look, you guys are gonna get, you're gonna get your shit slapped if you hang around here.
Yeah.
Which, and if I remember correctly, that's my rifle familiar. If I remember correctly, again, I've not read the book yet, but was he not the so in another episode, I believe in another episode, you talk about an ODST
yeah,
that single-handedly saved the human race almost almost single-handedly. Was that not the Marine that interacted, or the ODST that interacted with
yes, yes, that was McKay.
There you go.
Yeah,
McKay.
she realised, that so Antonio Silva is the ODST commander aboard the Pillar of Autumn, and he basically chooses to or makes the decision to try to capture the Truth and Reconciliation, even while it's being taken over by the Flood, to try to take it back to UNSC controlled space and use the technology to help advance human technology, and then win the Human Covenant War, not realizing just how dangerous the Flood really are, and that if the Flood make it to Earth, that's pretty much the end of the human species. And she recognizes that he's basically he's gone beyond the point of reason, and makes the decision to destroy, to bring the ship down with effectively the help of Jenkins, and she uses a plasma grenade, as I recall, to destroy the main optical cables between the bridge and engineering of the Truth and Reconciliation, which causes it actually hits something much more critical as well, and causes the system to basically blow up in their face. Right before the grenade detonates, Jenkins manages to speak clearly enough to be understood, and basically says thank you to McKay, and then the explosion kills them both and takes the Pillar of Autumn out. Takes the Truth and Reconciliation out, which actually happens after we revisit it on the level keys later.
I would like to we can talk about a bit more about that. So if anyone unaware, I think I said it in the last episode, but these next couple episodes are going to be more dedicated to the Flood, especially with the next mission being the library. It is, for anyone who's not played Halo, the most tedious level, arguably designed to test your mettle as a player, but mostly just poor level design by Bungie. But we'll be covering the Flood over the course of the next couple of levels. We'll be talking about them a little bit more.
It's worth. I might. I might see. I'm not sure if she will or not, but I might ask if. So one of my moderators in the Discord is a microbiologist. And
is this? Who's this?
This is Dust.
Oh, I speak to Dust yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's done a lot of work on the a lot of research on the Flood and how they sort of operate on a biological level, and I do wonder if she'd be interested anyway in coming on in the library and seeing if we can get some professional opinions of a microbiologist.
I would definitely like that. That'd be really cool, because I failed science, I'm interested by it, but I'm not good at it. It's a super interesting thing, but I failed it. So it'd be nice to sort of look on a sort of scientific level what you know, just to talk about it really.
You can't fail science. You can fail it as a subject. But
yeah, as a subject. That's what I mean. Like I failed it as a subject.
Humans are born scientists.
I am science. So what do you reckon this thing is here? Like, do you reckon this is like Forerunner customs? You put your luggage in here, and or that's what it always reminded me of. It's like a luggage sort of belt.
I mean, from my perspective, obviously, I've done electronic and computer engineering in my past. Hello, in my past, and to me, it kind of resembles a more complex, either a more complex capacitor or a more complex transformer. But I could be wrong.
It kind of reminds me of like a giant sort of Mac.
Yeah.
I was going to say
As
Mac
opposed
cannon,
to-
but
as
that's
opposed-
not correct if you say it
as
that way.
opposed to a Big Mac.
Yeah, I had a Big Mac today. It was real nice. But yeah, it definitely, it kind of resembles that to me. I think it's just because the electricity, with that being sort of how railguns kind of work. I know railguns are probably very different to Mac cannons, but I always assume a railgun is a Mac cannon because it's magnetic acceleration. But you'd imagine you'd use super magnets for that and then negatively charge them to launch something, like a giant fucking anvil or something. Because that's essentially what it is. Like they've developed a real life railgun. If anyone's not seen that, that's one of the coolest things ever. Have you seen
door?
that?
Don't open the door.
No, it's just housekeeping. We're fine.
Housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
Go away.
I come in anyway.
I clean now. Consider yourself cleansed. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
really
looking
good
forward to this
beer.
level to ask what this is. What beer have you got? I asked this earlier, I believe, but not on stream.
Birra Moretti.
Ooh. I've got a can of Monster. It's a Pacific Punch. I was going to
I
get
like
beer,
that one.
but yeah, it's really nice. I don't really drink Monster
Why
too
are you
often.
drinking Monster at this time of the evening?
It doesn't really affect
Do you
me. It's
plan
kind
on
of weird.
sleeping?
Yeah, it doesn't particularly affect me, to be honest with you. I can still go to sleep. That'd be just fine. Okay, I think this is the room where they
Ishmael.
shoot back, right? No.
It's the one at the bottom of this.
Yes.
Ishmagwa, hua, Ishmagwa.
Okay, I'm gonna switch to classic for this ride down, just because this is
Of all the blood.
this is the ambient elevator. Yeah.
Mm.
But typically ambience is in the background. This is very much in the foreground.
Yeah, because it's not anywhere near as apparent when you're in. It's even like there's smears of blood as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Like they were being forced up against the wall while it was descending.
That, or they were dragged down the wall.
Yeah.
We've got human combat forms here.
What is that? Oh, it's gone. Something fell off of one of the flood, and I don't know what it was, but it was disgusting.
Is it just like a little gib? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what this is.
Giblets.
I think this is a... I genuinely think they've just photo scanned like a chicken leg or something here. Okay, look at this human one here. I'm looking at it in Anniversary, just for the sake of reference. Look at the spine.
Mm.
If you zoom in, you can
Yes.
actually see the guy's brains and his teeth. You can see from this side, you can see his teeth sort of towards the right, and his brains mushed up at the back.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very grim.
Yeah. I mean, if you consider that's not just like the tips of the vertebrae. That's a lot of skin and flesh has been pulled away from that. In fact, some muscle has even been pulled away as well.
I don't want to think about that.
No?
No. Sorry, I dropped my credit card. Yeah, I took my phone out my pocket to throw it on charge, and dropped my credit card. But yeah, it's gross as shit, man. Doesn't look anywhere near as it. Oh god, in classic, his tongue is in there, and you can see his spine, like the top of his neck.
Oh.
I tell you what, there's some rigid cheeks. They're staying up perfectly fine. Yeah, that's horrible to look at.
It just it drives home how like almost cancerous a flood infection is.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to word it.
Ugh.
You can see they started to barricade the doors here.
Yeah.
There's a big barricade on that side, and they didn't quite get it done on this side.
No, I didn't get it put in place quick enough.
No. Auto glass repair. Auto glass replace. Oh, I can hear Marine down there.
Oh, I just picked up. Oh, there's a camouflage here.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Ah, I tried to jump on it. You can make it across by jumping. Let's clear up this.
Gotta-
Ooh,
gotta
ooh,
jump at the
ooh.
right
I got a
time.
new toy.
Did you? Oh,
Would you like the shotgun?
shotgun. No, it's alright. There'll be another one.
No, if I take it, they won't. And you won't be able to see me take it because I'm invisible.
It's very nice everything you've got there.
It'd be a shame if something were to happen to it. There's another one for everyone who watched episode 2 way back when. Yeah, this shotgun's got crazy good range.
It has.
This is what shotguns should perform like in every game. And I'm not just saying that because this shotgun's really good. I'm saying it because for some reason in games, shotguns tend to have a damage drop-off of approximately just outside the barrel.
Mm.
In real life, a shotgun's effective up to like... extremely effective up to like 25 feet, right?
Yeah.
Depending.
Well, it's worth noting
Probably
even like the gauge. I nearly shot you then.
I nearly shot you as well. Luckily, it had a bit of input delay, so I missed.
The gauge that this shotgun uses is actually an 8 gauge, and as I recall, the 8 gauge is no longer allowed to be used in the theatre of war. It might even be jurisdicted by the Geneva Convention, because an 8 gauge is considered too brutal for use against adversaries in war.
Yeah, I can see why that would be the case.
So
It's
the
a
fact
very
that it
brutal
was-
weapon.
The fact that it's brought back, so to speak, for the UNSC says something for how severe the war got.
Definitely. So it's interestingly enough, we never actually see the dead elite that we saw in the cutscene.
No.
It's in a room that is inaccessible, but it is on the map somewhere. I will try to find a source for that, which I should do by the time this video goes up. And I'll send you like a reference image
Mm.
to throw in, if that's cool. But it is accessible for people who are wondering about that. Unless it's in this room. I don't think it is. Ow. That was rude.
There's
Yeah, I
a
think...
terminal here somewhere.
Yeah, it's when you start going down the next lift, you have to jump off the lift as it's going down, and it's above the sort of area
Moved.
where you walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I do need to read The Flood still, though. I will hopefully have read that come time library's recorded. I'm going to start reading it tonight. I usually do it in about 50-page increments.
Fair enough.
So I think it's like should take me about a week to read it.
This is one of the space. Oh, Christ!
Sorry, I'm currently fighting everything.
Oh dear. It just despawned.
Was it the arm that was wedged there?
No, it wasn't. It was the top of a head was wedged just here.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw I think it was.
That's
an arm.
moving.
Oh, the tendrils. Look. It's still alive. Look, the infection form's sticking out the top. Like it's actually the tendrils are out as opposed to flaccid. That flood's still alive.
That's
kind of cool. So
I've never seen that happen before.
I think this flood is aposed.
It's that the bit of the head that I said about that was over here.
Okay, I'm gonna just have a quick
It's the top
look.
of the head of him.
Did you at least give it back?
Well, no, it despawned.
Oh god, his ear is halfway down his neck. Look at that.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah, that head's to think about. Right, let's move a little bit further forward.
I don't like it.
You know, every time you die, or I die on this, it'd be a really funny edit, is if you put in, I have seen your future and I have learned, and just put it in like black and white, and then you just die.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty good idea. There's shotguns in this room, by the way. Ow.
I got one.
Okay. Guess I'll just go fuck myself then.
Well, there's no need for that.
I jest. Boy, I sure hope people are looking forward to the library, because I'm fucking not. Nah, I quite enjoyed the library. For all its flaws, I really... No pun intended there. It does have, like, 4 flaws, but...
Yeah, for all of its flaws.
For quite literally all of its flaws, I really enjoy a sort of Halo-themed Doom mission. I really sort of enjoy that. It's a nice change of pace. It's sort of a mindless play-as-you-go kind of game. Or map, and I enjoy that. I rate that. Right, that one's gonna... There you go. Vented. That wasn't a bad idea doing that, actually, was it?
Not bad at all.
Yeah, so the terminal is up there. You can see the yellow light from over here.
So we have to activate it and then jump off.
Yeah, I'll let you jump off. I got this terminal already, but 1 sec. So I'm gonna activate it. Just get ready to run. Activate it as quick as you can, because you'll warp up to me. Did you get?
Construction of a sarcophagus around the unexplained vessel was completed today. No occupants ever exited. No attempts to communicate were made, other than the automated broadcast that repeated every 72.83 seconds until the signal terminated 1 week ago. In accordance with procedure, no attempts at physical or remote contact were made with any survivors of this vessel's inelegant landing. Atmosphere from inside the craft stopped venting 2 weeks before the signal ceased. No relationship between these two events can be established with certainty. Gases that did escape were sterilized. No further sign of alien visitors or rescuers has been identified on any sensor systems. I have now endured 60,000 years without word from outside the array. I have no way to know whether we actually saved the galaxy we destroyed. And because of protocol, I sat silently while my first chance to be judged for those acts died. To say that I regret being forced to this outcome is a tremendous understatement. But as I perform my inspection of the quarantine labs today, I am reminded of the gravity of my responsibilities. Just one of these spores, if released from this facility, would render the ultimate judgment against our self-appointed role as protectors of this galaxy. When the plan to maintain the Halo array was created, it was a point of some contention whether we should preserve any remnant of the flood infection. Many thought this unwise, as there was a notable chance that one day one of our containment facilities might be breached. Those who held this belief were almost successful at convincing the Ecumen Council to destroy the last flood samples. But oddly enough, it was the librarian who decided otherwise. And I believe she was correct. I know in a way I cannot logically explain that there exists a way to actually defeat the flood. To immunize? To cure? I still struggle with multiple layers of memory of fighting the flood. But I know this cure is possible, even though the full genius of the Forerunners was unable to achieve it. The Forerunners' ancient enemy held and used that knowledge once, but it was denied to us. And without samples for further study, that cure will never again be found. Of course, I have no reason to believe that here lies the entirety of the parasite. It may be waiting in the frozen void beyond this galaxy, or worse, inexorably drifting toward us. I don't know what survives out beyond my installation, but I know that in order for anything to survive, I have to protect this installation and its quarantine very carefully. Yes, the librarian was right to store it, examine it, continue to seek a cure. Still, next visitor, things will be different.
Get it?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because you
I already
walked up
had
to
it,
me.
but it's just for the sake of not
You look
so
so
people know
small.
where it is.
Oh, there you go. You sort of desynced under the elevator a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So what I would have really liked about this is if you came out in a different section of the swamp.
Mm.
That would have been a nice little touch just to sort of get ahead a little bit.
Well, this is a different section of the swamp.
Oh shit, yeah, it is. It just looks the same. Okay, that's my bad.
Because obviously it would be like around about here that it goes down to that log that you walk across.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, that's my bad. I was just kind of assumed because you have the big swamp that you end up walking into in a minute. I can hear Mendoza's voice again.
Well, they only had limited voice actors and lines of combat dialogue and.
Well, I've got
We'll
a
give 'em
nice little
that.
scene for you. One of them just got infected and T-posed.
No, did they?
Yeah, he got infected and just went T-posed for about 3 or 4 frames. Right. I'll bring up the rear guard.
Here they come. I like that. I like some of that combat dialogue. It's, I recognise that one. That was Bob.
Oh, that's interesting to watch.
What?
We lost points there, but it was for a good cause. One of the Marines got infected and started running about. You might want to run. There's a plasma gun. There's the Tom and Jerry scream again, guys. You heard it. You heard it here first. Okay, now we get to meet the.
I am the monitor of installation 04.
So yeah, we get to meet 343 duplicitous bitch or whatever his name is.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark.
I'm the monitor of literally every heartache you have playing Halo. I tried to betray you, and then I killed your good buddy Johnson.
It bothers me how jovial he is.
It bothers me that he exists. Like, Tim Darbo did such a good job, but he, I just hate 343 Guilty Spark. I think he's a bit of a pleb.
What about, what about Penitent Tangent?
He was alright. He was a pretty cool geezer.
You are aware that... I don't know if I want to spoil this for you.
Just go for it, man. I'm not overly fussed. More lore.
343 Guilty Spark is still alive.
Oh, yeah. I had a conversation with the other guy who did the Inferno theory with me. I had a conversation with him about it. We were talking about the fact that we think it's ridiculous that a human ship would find him and just go, yeah, seems like a good idea, bring him on board. Okay, 228 points, we're doing well. Right, that's this episode done, I think. Splendid. Okay, I'm going to stop recording in a second, but before I do that, thank you everyone for watching. I'm doing Installation's job, pay me. No, seriously, thank you everyone for watching. Tune in next week for the library. And, yeah, hope you enjoyed.